And good morning. It's 7:03 on this Tuesday, July 30th. It's time to head to Studio B for Coleman and Company.
Hello, everybody. Well, we've been talking about the sunshine and what a wonderful, gorgeous day it was. Today we got a little liquid sunshine, not much of it yet, little sprinkles, but anyway. We welcome you to our program here, presented by Tadova Healthcare Lebanon. And this morning, we want to talk a little bit about better health and better living. Dark green leafy vegetables are great sources of nutrition. Salad greens, kale, and spinach are rich in vitamins A, C, E, and K. And broccoli, bok choy, and mustard are also rich in many of the B vitamins. These vegetables also contain an abundance of carotenoids, antioxidants that protect cells and play roles in blocking the early stages of cancer. They also contain high levels of fiber, iron, magnesium, potassium, and calcium. Furthermore, greens have very little carbohydrates, sodium, and cholesterol. Because of their high content of antioxidants, green leafy vegetables may be one of the best cancer-preventing foods. According to the USDA, studies have shown that eating 2 to 3 servings of green leafy vegetables per week may lower the risk of stomach, breast, and skin cancer. These same antioxidants have also been shown to decrease the risk of heart disease. So, a little healthy living this morning from Tadova. Again, a reminder that they were awarded for efficient and effective care. The Tadova Rehab Center at McFarland has been recognized as one of the top 10% of inpatient rehab facilities in the United States. And a quick reminder of the 30 minutes or less ER service pledge. Less waiting where it matters most in the Tadova emergency room. In a medical emergency, every minute matters. So at Tadova, you'll find faster care. They work diligently to have you initially seen by a medical professional in 30 minutes or less. Tadova Healthcare Lebanon, presenting Coleman and Company every Tuesday at this time. And let me remind you of something else. I've been intending to mention this for a week or 10 days and forget it every day. So Billy Goodman has given me a little information here so that I won't forget. And that is that WANT is now archiving every Coleman and Company show online. Just go to WANTFM.com, scroll down the page a little, and click on the link that says Details underneath Coleman & Company, and it will take you to a page with a link that says click here to listen to previous interviews. And the shows are posted each weekday morning about an hour after they air. Well, my guest this morning is the one and only Uncle Pete.
Good morning, Wilson County and the surrounding areas. This portion program today is being brought to you live and in Technicolor by yours truly, the one, the only. Now here's my old buddy Coleman. Good morning, Coleman.
Tell him what color shirt I'm wearing today.
You're wearing a sort of a maroon shirt.
Oh, that's red.
That was red before about 35 washings.
My Reds won last night, so I'm wearing the Cincinnati Reds. It's a little darker red than they are.
Yeah,
I'll agree.
Just a little bit. It's got a little bit of pink in it.
How you doing?
I'm doing great.
Well, same
here.
You
do know what that vegetable you was talking about? You know where that noid is at? It's that little bump on the end of the broccoli.
You like broccoli?
I do.
I do too.
And cauliflower. I like broccoli, cauliflower. We eat a lot of green vegetables at our home.
Yeah.
Thank goodness.
Well, we try to as well. But when Bush won, was president, he got a lot of publicity. He did not. I think his mama made him eat broccoli, and when he got old enough to choose for himself,
he had to apologize over that.
Really?
Yes.
Oh.
He did. He was at a school, and the nutritionist said, You do eat broccoli sometimes, don't you? And he said, when my mother says I have to.
but I like broccoli, and it's
we have it at the truck stop quite often.
Yeah. Well, anyway, Haywood P. Norman IV,
absolutely,
known as Uncle Pete, who
commander of the American Legion.
When did you start Uncle Pete's Truck Stop, or you actually bought the truck stop and
27 years ago?
Changed the name. So
yes.
you were there before WANT went on the air.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Two families have owned the truck stop, the Bells and the Normans.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we almost owned it as long as the Bells.
Did Was it? And we'll get to what you're here for in a minute. But I just when these things pop into my mind, I got to spit them out. Was that a tough decision at all to do that? I mean, this was totally different. You'd been other things. You had your military career. You'd
Yes,
worked
sir.
in the school system in Bowling Green, Kentucky.
I had
think.
sold a construction company that was quite successful. I had 5 brothers that worked for me, and they pooled their resources and bought us out. And my partner retired. He was up in his 70s. And I retired for about 10 days. And then I needed something to do. So I had a little deal going on with one of the banks, and I was going in and giving assistance to businesses that were in financial problems or having management problems and things. And I saw an opportunity. So down the road, I ended up buying a locksmith company, and my sister ended up running it. I helped take over a dry cleaning place and reorganized it, and then sold it, and then had bought a convenience store up by the Nashville Zoo in north of Nashville when they were up there.
Yeah.
And it had been run terribly, very, very bad. The owner at the time had a bad habit of drinking, and halfway through the night, he might be stone drunk. And we took it over, did a really good job with it, and we found out about this place. And I came every day for 30 days. Either morning, I either ate breakfast, lunch, or dinner. They thought I was a truck driver because and it was so badly run that I wanted to see what was going on and could it succeed. And I saw the potential was there, but they had no business savvy. That had gone out the window. You didn't go in and ask for a menu. You went in and says, "Well, what have y'all got to cook today?" And it was really that bad. And so when we took over, our first order with PFG was almost $7,000 to stock the shelves. We redid the front end and put a grocery store in there, built bathrooms, big bathrooms down the hallway, and added on. Buildings had 11 additions to it. And it originally was a mobile gas station.
Yeah.
And part of that old station is where the cash registers are at. There's another ceiling above that drop ceiling. And at one time, we even had some of the mobile horses out in the field.
Oh, boy.
So we did a lot of work. We changed the staff. We kept 2 people, and that's it.
Yeah.
And it was amazing because once the truck drivers found out you really had food, you really cared about them. And then my cup thing got started as a joke. When I first got there, it had 5 coffee cups that weren't broke, and about that many plates. Well, we went and bought a bunch of plates, and I ordered coffee cups, and one of the girls that worked for me said, "My mom's got a bunch of them old cups." So she goes home and comes back with a laundry basket with 83 coffee cups. And we used them for about 2 months. My other cups came in, and she said, "What are you going to do with these?" And I said, "Stick them on the window ledge. We'll call them decoration." So we lined the window ledge with 83 coffee cups, and they're still there today. And
Along with 2,000.
no, along with 7,000 now.
Wow.
And drivers would come through and see them and say, well, me being a big mouth, I said, "What does it look like? I'm collecting coffee cups, dummy." "Really? What for?" "Oh, the Guinness World Record." So one day somebody said, "Well, what is the Guinness World Record?" I said, "I don't know." So Guinness is in England.
Yeah.
So to call the Guinness office back then, you had to get up 2 o'clock in the morning to call them in England. So I got up, called them, and asked where the record was at. She looked it up. She said, "In Gatlinburg, Tennessee, the coffee cup." So Marianne and I loaded up, and we go to Gatlinburg. And here's this nice little restaurant that had 1,000 different coffee cups with names on them. You bought a cup for $9.99, and your coffee was free that day. What a deal, Lucille. So when we surpassed them at 2,000, we reset the record, and we twisted it. I've never bought a cup. I've drank out of every single cup in the restaurant, one cup at a time. My largest cup is 1 gallon and a pint. My smallest cup is 2 drops.
What a story. Well, ask a question, you get an answer. But,
Absolutely. Absolutely.
You are here, of course, to support veterans.
Absolutely.
You are the,
Commander of the American Legion,
Right.
Post 15, which is 100 years old, older than the National American Legion. And most people don't know where the first post for the American Legion is at. Paris, France.
Okay.
The name American Legion came from the French that called the Americans the American Legionnaires. And in honor of them, they built a club for the Americans called the American Legion Post. And that was the first post.
So that's
And
how it all
then the
started.
guys came back, and 22 local residents decided they wanted to do the same thing, and they started an American Legion post. The first one met in the arcade upstairs. Same with the Rotary Club, and 2 or 3 others met up there.
Right, yeah.
And that's where they had their meetings at.
Well, we're going to get into more of this, but it's time for us to take a break. Uncle Pete is here. Pete Norman on Coleman and Company, FM 98.9.
And it's 7:16. Let's see what's happening on the roadways thanks to Bates Ford and the lifetime brake pad guarantee. With the purchase of a brake service, replacement brake pads will be provided at no cost for as long as the customer owns the vehicle. Bates Ford, 1673 West Main. Now with traffic, here's Chuck.
Good morning. We're looking at a crash over to the side here on 24 westbound, just before you get to Sam Ridley Parkway. Watch for a crash at Lebanon Pike at Bradley Parkway in Donaldson. That's involving some injuries. Avoid that intersection. Nolensville Pike at Thompson Lane. That appeared to be a 2-car collision. Traffic's really picked up now through Mount Juliet on 40 going westbound, headed towards Nashville. Prince's Hot Chicken is the original hot chicken in Middle Tennessee. Check it out today for lunch. 5814 Nolensville Pike. I'm Commander Chuck. You're on time traffic.
It's a new day at Lebanon Health and Rehabilitation. Lebanon Health and Rehabilitation has experienced new leadership, a new atmosphere at the same location in the heart of Lebanon, located at 731 Castle Heights Court on the Castle Heights campus. Lebanon Health and Rehabilitation is providing 5-star clinical outcomes to short-term and long-term care residents. Call 444-4319 for a tour and to experience the new culture. It's a new day at Lebanon Health Care and Rehabilitation.
It's your first day in business, a new space, real investors, and butterflies the size of dinner plates. For peace of mind, protect your dream and call THW Insurance. Local folks representing quality companies like Westfield Insurance. Whether your business is large or small, contact Lori Carter of THW at 615-547-5632 or stop in and see her at the Wilson Bank and Trust West Main office.
Coleman and Company, thanks for joining us. Our Tuesday morning program presented by Nolan Healthcare Lebanon, and this morning presented by Uncle Pete as well, I guess. But let's get into the military thing. Because I guess you're in a position to be of help. One of the things I think that probably maybe endears you to some of these veterans is that you are a veteran. You've been there. You understand them maybe in a way that the average person on the street like me maybe does not.
Well, I came back from Vietnam. I came back angry. I didn't think the way we did Vietnam and the way we did the Vietnamese was a good thing. And it cost me my first marriage. I was that angry. I had PTSD, didn't know it then. They didn't know what it was. It took me many years to work through all that. And I see these young guys today, and I see these older guys today that are still battling PTSD. I had a lady one day, and God love her, you know, she meant well, and I didn't mean to culturally shock her, but she said, that's something that you can just work through. And I said, ma'am, how many people have you shot and killed? And she said, well, what do you mean? I said, how many people have you shot and killed? And I said, a lot of these guys have shot and killed people that they couldn't see them when they shoot them, and then they've got to rack the bodies up and dispose of them. I said, how many have you done that way? Well, I've not done any. And I said, trust me, if you'd done one, you'd be with these guys. Mm-hmm. And it is. You know, these guys go through things that if you've not been there and done that, it's hard to explain what it is. You know, I've seen some of the movies and some of the film footage and things, and it shows some of the stuff. I think one of the best things in the world that could ever be done is the stuff about the Holocaust played in every single school in the world as what people did to human beings. Mm-hmm. And I think what Patton and some of the other generals did to some of the German villages over there by taking every man, woman, and child and making them go out and bury those people in their Sunday go-to meeting was a great thing. And those villages today, those townships today will tell you that their grandparents and stuff told them that they had no idea, and they yes and no, they did or didn't, but that made a more lasting impression on them of what their country had done to the Jewish, but it wasn't just Jews; it was Jews, Catholics, priests. You know, towards the end, if a priest helped Jews hide Jews, they kill him. Yeah. The gypsies, oh my goodness, they slaughtered hundreds of gypsies and partisans and stuff. So it's something that people just don't understand. World War II, they called it shell shock. World War I, they called it shell shock. Now it's PTSD. Yeah. And now they're even saying, you know, that trauma with kids in school shootings and police officers in shootouts and stuff, they can have PTSD, and they can, because it's something that your mind keeps replaying that. You keep seeing that. And, you know, we need to be there for these guys.
Well, you suffered with this. How did you overcome it? I mean, you seem to be doing pretty well today.
By getting into an organization of guys that had been there, done that, let's talk. And we worked it out back then amongst ourselves. We would literally sit and talk sometimes for hours at a time. You know, if something came up and you exploded, it's like AA for PTSD. You know, I had somebody that I could call. I had a lifeline. Hey man, I'm really having a hard time. Well, come on over, or I'll come over, or meet me somewhere. And we did. And my first encounter group, and then when I moved, I started another one. I started another one. Everywhere I was at, I would get into an organization, a VFW or American Legion, whatever was there, and started doing this. And at first, even the World War II vets and the Korean vets that got sort of left on the sideline started coming into our groups, and then once they did, it was amazing how many of those had kept all of this inside them for years and years and years. And right now, the homeless veterans in the United States is up in the hundreds of thousands. You know, it's unbelievable. And they're getting ready to build 4 new veteran homes in the state of Tennessee. This is all well and good. And the way they got it funded so quickly is they're going to have to keep, I think, 20% of the beds for homeless. But you got to talk to these guys to keep them in there. I've had a couple of guys that'll come off the streets to us, and if I don't have the ability to take them and get counseling and work through their problems, they're gone.
Yeah,
they're gone.
Well, are you making, with what you're doing, hopefully you've been coming here for close to a year now, once a month on average, do you feel like you're You're making some progress?
We've made some progress. We've had some successes, great successes. We've had some terrible failures. I've got one guy that's been in and out of the house 3 times, and you'll still see him in the Kroger's parking lot in his white beard, and he'll tell you up front, give me some money, I need some more beer. You know, he won't lie to you. He lives in a tent in the woods, but he's not going to. He jokingly told me one day, he said, I ain't going to give up my wild women and my Budweiser. I said, okay, Pop. But
any hope for him, really? I mean,
if he would ever agree, he went home to his family for a while, and they brought him back and here. If he would ever agree to go into a rehab program and get dried out and get straightened out, I think he could. I think he would. But you've got to, under the law, you can't physically put him in there. Mm-hmm. If he says no, you got to raise your hand. Like a police officer told me one day, said, I know they need to go. I know they need to help. But when they say no, officer, I got to quit.
Yeah.
And that's where it's at. But now the things that I'm seeing and we're wanting to get more and more into this is families, young families with nowhere to go. Rent for an average 3-bedroom house is $1,500.
Yep.
You're making $11, $12 an hour, and you got 2 or 3 kids, you can't pay $1,500. We still see them every now and then, a van load and a family trying to find a place, coming in, hey, Pete, do you know any place cheap that I can rent? And some of the places that they're renting for $1,000, I wouldn't put a dog in it. It wouldn't make a good doghouse. And they'll go in, clean it up, paint it up a little bit, and pay $1,000 a month because they can't pay anything else. They can't find anything else. And what we'd like to do is raise about $250,000 and build 5 habitat-style houses and let them be in there at a reasonable rate. And whatever they pay, they have to match that to go into a savings account to eventually be able to get their own house.
Have you seen this work anywhere else?
It's worked in several other states, and by doing that, it helps them. And along with it, there's some requirements. You got to take the Dave Ramsey "How do I take care of my nickel" course. Mm-hmm. You've got to be up front and sober and drug free and alcohol free. You've got to do some family counseling. You can't make them go to church, but you suggest that they do that. And you do family group counseling and stuff with them so that they get their lives back together. What people don't understand, these young guys go in the military at 16, 17, 18 years old. For the next 4 years, some sergeant is telling them, get your boots on, straighten your hair, put your hat on, chow time. Go to work. Everything is done for them.
Yeah.
If they're married, they live on post or they live in a post community, trailer park or whatever that they can afford. And again, everything is done for them. You go to the commissary to get your groceries. You go to the PX. You go to the hospital there for your medicines and stuff. They get out. They don't have any of that.
Yeah.
And that's what they need. They don't need somebody holding their hand, but they need somebody to teach them how to hold hands. Like Miss Brooks said, don't give them a hand out, give them a hand up.
Yeah, and that's what you're trying to do.
Yeah, grab them by the nape of the neck, stand them up, dust them off, put them on a bicycle, shove them back out into 8 lanes of traffic. They got to learn to make it on their own, but somebody's got to be there to shove them into traffic. And, I'm 73. I ain't going to be there forever. And so what I'm wanting to do somewhere, I've got someone who is a pretty noted country music singer who says that if we get a little bit better with our organization, that he'll do some concerts for us to try to raise the money. Mm-hmm. And that's what I think, that's what I think we need. But along with that, all these people out here in radio land that are veterans or have been, that aren't in any of the organizations, if you want to keep your benefits, you need to join some of these organizations, either the American Legion with us or the VFW, or if you're a Vietnam veteran, the VVA. You need to join and help, because some of these days you might need that help. And by the way, we're going to have on the 12th of next month at Fox Park in the big pavilion a birthday party. Our guest of honor is 100 years old. His running buddy is 97. My dad's 93. We figured up the other day with just our core group, we've got 2,000 something years of experience.
Wow. Okay.
And we're going to have a big cake. We're going to cook hamburgers and hot dogs. And it's for the members of the American Legion and an invited guest.
And that's when?
It's going to be on the 12th it's going to start about 5 o'clock.
12th of August.
Yes, sir. And, if you're not a member, join. If you want to help, we're not taking any more clothes and stuff like that at the thrift store. We are taking money.
All right. If we were out of time, tell them your phone number and they can
My
call.
phone number is really easy, 615-804-4404.
All right. Pete, thanks a lot.
Thank
Always
you,
good
my
to have
friend.
you. That's part one of Coleman and Company, but keep it here for more. FM 98.9.
And it's now 7:30. Let's see what's happening on the roadways. Thanks to Absolute Kubota and Rental, they have Lamprey quality tractor implements, including cutters, finish mowers, box blades, tillers, and more. 5-year gearbox warranty. Extremely durable and well built. 1325 West Main. Now at traffic. Here's Chuck.
Well, good morning. They continue to work a couple of ranks north of the city, coming down 65 this morning. One near the North Loop. The other happened up there around Dickerson Pike. Traffic's still tied up there at Nolensville Pike at Thompson Lane from that crash. The fire department remains on the scene of this wreck with injuries at Lebanon Pike at Briley Parkway. Prince's Hot Chicken is the original hot chicken in Middle Tennessee. They're the ones who started all this hot chicken craze. Have lunch with them today at 5814 Nolensville Pike. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Welcome to Hearthside Senior Living, Lebanon's unique senior living community designed for seniors to age in place, all within a safe, comfortable, and Christian environment. Beautiful retirement homes designed for an independent lifestyle with maintenance-free living. Hearthside Senior Living also continues the excellent tradition of assisted living for those seniors who need additional services. Hearthside Senior Living, an independent retirement community and assisted living community, all on one campus in the heart of Lebanon. Call 615-443-1994 for a tour.
71 degrees all the way.
73 degrees, please.
So what's your perfect degree of comfort? We'll help you find it with professional Rheem HVAC service that'll keep your home comfy year-round, save on energy costs, and may qualify for utility rebates and tax credits. So enjoy a new degree of comfort.
72 degrees, and I'm good to go.
Financing available through TVA's Energy Right program and your local power company. Call Randy's Heat and Air 237-3604.
Take your umbrella with you as you head out the door this morning. Showers and storms are in the forecast for your Tuesday. Mostly cloudy skies will win out for much of the day, but it'll still be warm out. Highs will top out at right around the 90-degree mark. However, we'll see those rain chances taper off after the sun goes down. Skies will turn partly cloudy with overnight lows falling into the upper 60s. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Nisa Lomax.
Coleman and Company, thanks for joining us, and welcome to part two. It is a Tuesday, and Tuesdays at this time we talk about Hearthside Senior Living with, most of the time, Sean Doty. Good morning.
Good morning, Coleman.
Except when you're on special assignment or whatever.
That's right.
Which
Sometimes
is very
Betty,
rare.
Very rare. Betty comes out sometimes, and I appreciate her coming out. She's our activities director. She does a great job. She's very busy these days, getting ready for a lot of activities, and got the big fair coming up. We have Fair Week at our place during the Wilson County Fair, so we put on a lot of activities during that week. So she's preparing for that, and we're excited about that.
Yeah, Betty Kelly. Well, it is retirement and assisted living community at 215 Castle Heights Avenue North. And a lot of this we don't mention every week because Hearthside's been around since 1994.
94?
Most people are familiar with your assisted living. The retirement community is is newer, but I think people are pretty familiar with it now that you've accomplished the mission of getting 30 homes built and an occupant for them.
So, back in 1994, we started the assisted living, which is a great tradition. Many people have been served through that community and are continued to be served through that community. And we're very proud of our assisted living. We're going to go through a major remodeling next year, which is going to be great for everybody. I'm excited about that. Since 1994, we haven't done too much to it, so it still looks great on the outside and inside. But we're gonna remodel that community next year. We're excited about that. But that's been around since 1994. It started as a ministry, and really still is a ministry. We view it as that, and we're there to serve our residents. And we believe when we focus on them, everything goes much better.
Well, from time to time you talk about vacancies, and I know they're kind of rare, and usually you don't have one, but you got one right now?
We got one. We got a large room opened up at the end of the month, actually Thursday. So if anybody's interested in that, we're giving tours now. I gave one yesterday. So if anybody's interested in a large room, and possibly we may have a smaller room open up in a couple of weeks, so just stop by and see us. We'd love to give you a tour, feed you lunch, have a cup of coffee on us. It's a great community. Once you get into assisted living, you really do feel like home.
Well, you've been doing something right all these years, because most of the time you've been full.
We've been full most of the time.
That's kind of a lot.
Every once in a while we'll have a transition, and that's fine, and that gives an opportunity for people to move in. And so we do have a large room and possibly a small room opening up in the next couple of weeks. And then our retirement community is going great, Coleman. At the end of this year, we'll have 30 homes down there, and the last 2 are being built. The frame's going up in a week or 2. So once the frame gets up, it'll move pretty quickly. Those folks who have bought those properties really want in by the holidays. So Tony Watson's really got to move pretty quickly here in the next couple of months.
So you're hoping by the 1st of November. Maybe.
Oh yeah, hopefully by the 1st of November, at least by Thanksgiving. We hope to have everybody in, which by Christmas we'll celebrate 30 homes completed, which is pretty exciting.
Well, if you want to know more, there's a website,
hearthsideliving.com.
And of course, the phone number for Sean is 615-443-1994.
They can call us. They can look us up on Facebook. They can look us up on the website. The website has a lot of information on there. You can either go to the assisted living or you can go to the retirement community. It's really easy to find out information about both properties.
And I got to ask you, I mean, your residents there in the retirement community can come and can eat. Can they still do that for $3?
For $3, they can eat for $3.
I just wondering if you're ever going to go up.
I'm not going to change it. That would ruin our talking point, For $3, they can eat up in the dining room, which a lot of people take advantage of that. We have 3 great cooks. And they come up there for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and they either eat there or they take it back to their home. It's just convenient, and that's what we like.
Of course, if you're living in the assisted living community, that's
part of your package,
right?
Yeah, that's part of your
but
package.
If you're in the retirement community, you can come up there and get a $3 meal 3 times. That's $9 for 3 meals.
That's a pretty good deal, isn't it?
Yeah.
A lot of people take advantage of it. We're proud of that.
Well, you always have a Hearthside Hello. That's something you started. We've had people here before you, but this is your
Well, I'm not sure I actually started it, but I'll take credit for it. How about that?
Well, I don't think we had any Hearthside Hellos before you started coming.
Well, maybe I don't know. I think maybe Brian or maybe I don't know. But anyway,
I think I'm right on that.
Okay, I'll take credit for it. How about that?
Good.
But Tyson Davis, he's over at the country club. He helps run Lebanon Country Club. A great guy. I ran into him last week. He said he heard us talking about. Did you play golf last week? You said you were thinking about it.
I didn't play golf there, but I did try to play. Yes.
So you actually got out there?
I got out there and hit the ball.
How'd you do?
Not too good. I'm not going to tell my score. It's embarrassing. Well, it just is. I'm not a very good golfer.
Okay, me neither.
But I love to hit the ball.
But Tyson heard us talking about playing golf, and he, of course, he's out there helping run the Lebanon Country Club.
Yeah.
I saw him yesterday as well. So anyway, Harsh said hello to Tyson Davis. Great family.
Well, thank you for being with us. And again, if you need information, you've got the website, hearthsideliving.com. You've got John's telephone number, 615-443-1994. And we hope you have a great week.
Have a great week. Thank you, Coleman.
All right. We are about 22 minutes before the hour. And this morning, thanks to John Sloan, I've got him here, and he's brought a special guest with him this morning. I guess we can say it that way. John, good morning to you.
Good morning, Coleman. How are you this
I'm
morning?
doing well. It's a terrific Tuesday.
Every Tuesday's terrific when you're vertical.
When you get our age, that's not a hard thing to say.
I was listening very closely to the retirement community aspect.
Well, introduce the guest you have.
This is
morning.
David Gould. He's the publisher of, I think, 8 weekly papers. And, of course, our home paper here, the Wilson Post, formerly the Wilson World.
Yeah. Dave, good morning. Welcome again.
Thank you, Coleman.
You've been here at least a couple of times before, I think. I'm not
That's
sure
right.
it's more than 2, but we welcome you this morning. And I don't know if the room can handle the 2 of you, but maybe we can.
Well, I'm aging. It's been a rough couple of weeks.
Most people that listen to our program here are familiar with John because he's not what we'd call a regular. I mean, I don't have him on the schedule every month, but from time to time we get John out here, and he talks about the TWRA, talks about fishing, maybe a little hunting, a lot of good things, and I always appreciate having you, John.
Well, I appreciate it. You know, Coleman, you and I go back to 1984.
Is that right?
I think that's the first time I was on this show was 1984.
Well, I remember the first time I think I saw you was when you came to Lebanon doing a rodeo, and that was before
Wasn't I
that.
on the program then?
I don't know.
I can't remember what I had for breakfast.
But anyway, you do write you write a column that's in the Post, and
It's the longest continuously running outdoor column newspaper in the United States, which means probably in the world.
Yeah.
45 years.
How about that? You tell a story every time you do one of those.
Well, that's kind of my job. I'm a writer, not a reporter.
Yeah.
And that's a vanishing breed. Us old-timers who, our job, we feel, is first to entertain, secondly, maybe to educate or inform, but we want our readers to travel with us vicariously through the story. What we try to do is paint a picture with words, rather than what you see happening today with the blogger, 500 words, 50% of which are advertising a product, and 1 picture. And that really is cutting in. A lot of old-timers are retiring. A lot of the daily newspapers are doing away with the outdoor page simply to save money, and they're assigning usually a sports reporter to be the outdoor writer, and all he does is run a canned release. So I try to go the opposite direction. I figure unless it's really important breaking news, anything they need to know, they can get off the internet. What I want to do is give them something to get their mind going another direction. And a huge percentage of my readers are older women who don't hunt or fish at all. But I'm constantly stopped in Kroger's or Walmart or at church by some lady who says, "I just loved your column this week."
Well, Dave, you've got some good news for our listeners, for your readers, no doubt. And but I appreciate you having John's column in there because I read it and enjoy the pictures he has too, especially when he's catching fish.
Yeah, John's column is very popular among our readers, and they love it. And I did not know, John, it was the longest continuously running outdoors column in the world. That's
found
great.
that out 2 years ago. I had the executive director of the Southeastern Outdoor Press Association research it for me because I thought an outdoor writer in Memphis died, and I thought once he died that I may have had the longest one. It turned out I do.
Well, Dave, you've just come from a convention, I think, and the Wilson Post won some awards. You want to tell us about some of that this morning?
Absolutely, yeah. The Tennessee Press Association, which is the trade association for newspapers across the state, gives awards out once a year for newspapers coverage, and we won 9 awards, including sports coverage, which is Tommy Bryan and John Sloan and many others. And, you know, one thing John talked about was the way he writes his column. There's a real diversity of coverage in our sports section, and that's something that the judges noted, that we certainly cover high school sports, college sports, and interesting columns like John's. We also got awards for Best News Photo, Dallas Whitfield, Best Personal Column, Ken Beck, Steve Wampler, Best Sports Photo. So lots of really talented people that help us out at the Wilson Post every week.
Well, you mentioned Ken Beck, and Ken is a favorite writer of mine. I've got to say, I don't think I've ever seen him really have a bad story. He's a good writer.
He's the best story. He's the best storyteller around, and we hear all the time from readers, how much they appreciate what he does. And his story that won first place this last year was his 50-year the 50-year anniversary of Mr. Rogers and his retrospective on that. And it was just a great piece that Ken wrote about that, and it did real well.
How many newspapers do you actually have?
So we have 8 newspapers throughout Middle Tennessee, from Dixon County to the west all the way to around to Rutherford County in the southeast. And we're actually we're adding 3 new papers in the next 6 weeks. 2 up in Montgomery County, 1 in Clarksville, 1 we're going to be publishing a newspaper on the Army Post at Fort Campbell, and then we're also starting a paper out in Donaldson and Hermitage. So we'll have all that up, and we'll have 11 papers within the next 5 or 6 weeks.
Well, and you're responsible. You're the man in charge of all of this. That seems like an awesome responsibility.
Well, we've got great staffs everywhere, from Wilson County to all the different newspapers. We've got great journalists. In fact, the Wilson Post won 9 awards last week. Our company overall won 58. It's because we've got great journalists, great designers, great photographers, and they just do a fantastic job keeping our newspapers local, which is really what our niche is.
Oh, we need to go to a break here, but just for a minute, how long have you been, you haven't done this all your life, have you?
No, I worked in the business for 23 years, but the last 6 years, we started this company 6 years ago when we bought the Wilson Post. That was the start of the company back in May of 2013.
Just one paper at that time?
Well, we had bought 2 others in Sumner County at the same time. We started with 3, and now we're going to be up to 11 here pretty quick.
Okay. Well, so far, it sounds like you're running successfully.
Well, so far, so good.
All right. Well, we want to talk about the future of the newspaper and some of the problems that we're facing now when we come back. So stay with us during the break, and more coming up on Coleman and Company FM 98.9.
And at 7:46, let's see what's happening on the roadways. Thanks to Bates Ford and the low price tire guarantee on all tires every day. Up to 30 days after the sale, there'll be any competitor's pricing on the tires they sell. 1673 West Main. Now in traffic, here's Chuck.
Well, good morning. You're looking at another wreck out here in Rutherford County, black in the left lane. It is 24 westbound at Emmaville Road, just adding to that crazy delay that already exists there this time of the morning. Lebanon Pike at Briley Parkway. That wreck in Donaldson getting some attention. Heavy now on 40 West, coming past the airport there through Hermitage, Donaldson, past Spence Lane. Get the lowest prices on most of your airline tickets. Smart fares save you 70% off. Call 1-800-915-2544. I'm Commander Chuck, your on-time traffic.
Now you can get a great-looking cut in less time every time with an Exmark. The Mowers Landscape Pros trust 2-to-1 over the next best-selling brand of mowers. Right now, step up to Exmark with their newly redesigned Quest Zero-Turn Riders, the Exmark Radius, or go pro with the Exmark Laser Z, the most respected zero-turn mower in the business. Check them out today at Absolute Kubota, 1325 West Main Street in Lebanon. Exmark, ready to work for you.
Helping your family stay healthy is what we're all about at Tenova Family Medicine Lebanon. So we make it more convenient for you to see a primary care provider when you need one. Walk-ins are welcome Monday through Saturday, 7 a.m. until 7 p.m. And if you prefer to schedule a visit, same-day appointments are often available. Just call Tenova Family Medicine Lebanon, 615-378-6719. That's 615-378-6719.
Coleman and Company, welcome to our final segment here on Tuesday morning. If you're just joining us, we certainly welcome you. We have Dave Gould with us this morning, and give him the proper introduction here. He is the owner and publisher of Main Street Media, which we've been talking about. Started with 3 newspapers, the Wilson Post. Was it the Post when you bought it, or?
It was the Post.
Okay, yes. When it actually started, I helped start that, Dave. I don't know whether you know that or not. Back in November of 1978.
That's right.
And it was the Wilson World, and then it became the Post, and then you bought it, and then with 2, you said in Sumner County at the time.
The Gallatin News and the Hendersonville Standard, both of which are still around, yes.
And now you've got 9, and you're going to have 11 soon?
Right, we got 8 now. We're going to have 11 by the first week of September. That's correct.
Well, anyway, it's quite a venture, and I think if I'm not mistaken, one time maybe you talked about this. Your family's involved in this quite a bit, are they not?
It is a family business. Yeah, my wife is very involved in the business as well, and I've got a couple of my kids who intern in the summer, and the younger kids will do things as well. So it really is a family business.
And of course, we've got John Sloan here. John is the outdoor writer for the Post, and
Right.
you appear in another paper too, don't you?
I'm in the Carthage Courier also, yes.
And Dave, you don't have anything to do with that, do you?
No.
He's on his own there.
Coleman, if I remember correctly, I think I came to the Wilson World in '79, I believe. I had been with the Mount Juliet Chronicle, and that didn't work out too well. And I walked in and asked Tommy Bryan if he wanted an outdoor column, and I think that was in the very early days of the Wilson World.
Okay, all right. But one of the things we've seen the role of newspapers change, and there's been a lot of big newspapers who have gone out of business. We've seen some who were really tremendous influences in their cities kind of take a nosedive. Is there a place for what you're doing, and is there the future look good for a small town newspaper?
Absolutely. As long as the focus of the content is on things that people are interested in, which is local news. We don't get into national news or world news or celebrity news. We focus on what's happening in the community, what impacts people's day-to-day lives. So the city council and high school sports, local events, local nonprofits, local business, local people. There's a great interest. When we started our company, we had 2,000 subscribers to our papers. Today we have over 26,000, and that's growing every month. So we are adding new readers all the time because they're interested in this type of local news.
John?
Coleman, the thing about a weekly newspaper is you're going to get things in it that you can't get from the daily and can't get off the internet. One person said it's like a local gossip sheet. You've got the obituaries and the hometown news that you don't find anywhere else. And that's what makes the weekly newspaper unique and keeps it going. As an example, maybe 10 years ago, I was writing for 19 magazines. There are only 4 of them still in print. The rest have folded.
Yeah. Kind of same thing, I guess, has happened to them.
Exactly. The internet has replaced them. And the 3 that have survived are the big magazines, and then there's one special magazine that's still in print, and it's on shaky ground. But advertisers are going a lot to the electronic media, and that's what kills your print media.
One of the things that Dave, you have done, which I don't know if that's a trend for the future or whatever, but right now, your paper's free.
It is.
And then how did you, I was paying, seemed like $30, $40 or something like that for a year's subscription. I've taken the paper ever since I helped start it. So always had my subscription. Part of the time it was free, but for the most part it hasn't been. But you did this, and how's that come along?
So our model, and this has evolved over time, but our model is we offer free subscriptions for a certain period of time. The goal there is to build up a good, strong, engaged reader base, because we still sell a lot of advertising, and that really is the what makes our company go is advertising, and advertisers need eyeballs, advertisers need an audience, advertisers need growth. A lot of newspapers have seen their audiences decline, and their value has gone down, as John just noted, and so they've lost advertising. Where we build strong, engaged reader bases. And advertisers like that, and helps them get results.
Well, it's my understanding that anybody that wants to subscribe right now, they just call or do whatever they get on the subscription list. They start taking the paper. Doesn't cost them anything. You deliver it, and another thing you did. It used to be you used to do the paper twice a week. You went to one. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, it's just I thought that our what we have found is the most effective way to serve our readers is with one good, strong weekly newspaper a week. And we also have websites at all of our newspapers as well, where we break news every day and keep people informed. But we think we're best if we do one strong paper a week and give our readers a good, synopsis of what happened last week, what's coming up next week. That's just worked a lot better at big, beefier paper.
But now, is this true with all your papers? They're all weeklies?
All weeklies. Every paper comes out one day a week.
And that's what you're planning to be for the foreseeable future?
That is correct. That seems to be, and you've seen a lot of daily newspapers that are either folding or they're reducing their frequency back the other way to 3 days a week or maybe even fewer days a week. I think that may be where we end up as an industry, as a newspaper industry, is with 1 day a week frequency.
But I think what you're saying here, if you have local news and a lot of items, news that you can't get anywhere. I mean, you're not going to get Ken Beck anywhere else, I don't think. You're not going to get John Sloan. John may be in another county or something, but I mean, they're unique for you.
Absolutely. The news in our paper has to be unique, and that's why we don't cover the Titans. Our readers love the Titans, I'm sure, and but you can get that kind of news anywhere, but you can't read John Sloan everywhere. You can't read about the Lebanon High School volleyball team everywhere. You can't read about local type of information like that, and so we think as long as we stay unique, we're going to be in good shape.
You can't read about the mayor of Pool Tights. Just anyway.
Coleman, a few months ago, I had a company come to me and want me to write a blog for them on the same model of my columns, and I turned it down simply because I didn't feel like I could tell a story in 500 words. So that's one of the big differences. But, back to this free subscription business. Yeah. When I was editor of Bow and Arrow Hunting Magazine, we put a program together where you got the first year free. And we went from 22,000 to 65,000 subscription base with almost an 80% renewal. So it works. It's a very good tool.
Well, of course, newspapers and radio have always been in a little competitive situation. There's some competition there. That advertising pie is just got so many pieces. Somebody's advertising budget. I mean, they hopefully they include enough for all of us. But I think for the most part, for a long time here, we at the radio station here, WANT and WCR, have had a good relationship with our newspaper friends, and we're all in it together. We're all trying to make a living. We're trying to do the best we can for our community, I think.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more. We love local radio, and you've got the same philosophy we do, where you're at your best at this station is when local people like you are on the air talking to local people in the community. That's what advertisers are going to want to buy, because you're going to get lots of listeners that way. So we have the same philosophy, really. We're doing it the same way.
We're both in the news and entertainment business, and sometimes entertainment takes precedence, sometimes news does. But we're both out there doing the same thing.
Well, you are employing a few people. You're contributing to the economy in that way, Dave. Do you have quite a bit turnover, or how do you manage that?
So we've got 45 employees in our company, which continues to grow. We will be at 50 probably by the end of the year. We don't have a lot of turnover, to be honest. But it's, as we continue to grow, it presents new and interesting challenges as you're trying to kind of keep your arms around everything we're doing. In addition to the 45 employees, we have another 60 or so contractors, freelance people who will take photos, write stories, deliver newspapers, whatever it may be. So we've got a lot of people that are contributing to the company and the newspaper.
Well, let me ask one other thing, because when I helped start the Wilson World, we put that newspaper together on Monday night, took it to the printer in Franklin, I think it was, on Tuesday, got it back on Wednesday and got it in the mail or something. It seems to me that everybody got their paper Thursday. That's close. It's a little bit different now, isn't it?
Well, things move a little quicker. So the Wilson Post, we put it to bed about noon on Tuesday, and we have it to the post office by Tuesday night and in people's mailboxes on Wednesday. So, and we have our printer is actually up in Elkton, Kentucky. There's not a lot of printers around anymore. And so, but we've got a great relationship with him. He's a small family-owned print shop and does a great job for us. And we get it printed up there, shipped back down here to the post office and in people's mailboxes Wednesday.
Well, now the computer, the way you set it all up, all of that has changed tremendously too. I don't know how long you've been doing this actually, but I know back in the
back in the late 70s, all the work that went into making a full-page ad, especially if they had you spend an hour putting that thing together.
Absolutely.
You don't have to do that anymore.
No, technology, I mean, we've got very talented designers and artists who spend a lot of time carefully putting this stuff together, but technology has made that a much faster process. So we're able to get pages designed, ads designed, stories formatted in a pretty short amount of time.
Well, how do you get your content to your printer? Is that electronic?
Electronic. Yeah, we just essentially upload all the pages to a site, and they pull it down and they get it printed.
And then now they do have to ship the printed material here, I guess, so you can get it in the post office.
They truck it back down here on Tuesday afternoons, and we have it at the post office by about 5 o'clock.
Coleman, when I started as a Cubs sports reporter with the Portales News Tribune in Portales, New Mexico, we were still using hot type.
Yeah.
And it was a mess.
Well, everything has changed, but you have to go with the change. Radio, the way we do commercials has changed so much to what it was 30, 40 years ago. But you change with the times, or you're not around for the most part, really. We got a minute left. Anything you want to say before you leave, Dave? We appreciate having you.
Well, I'm glad to be here. I just wanted to add in addition to all the things we talked about as far as the kind of local news that's important, all of that is also supporting probably the most important thing we do, which is good journalism, which is making sure we're keeping an eye on elected officials and what's going on in various parts of government, making sure that we are providing a voice for those maybe who don't have a voice in the community, to do all the good things that the First Amendment affords us the opportunity to do. So that's critically important that we continue to do that, and that's why it's important that we continue to have a good, viable business and a good, viable newspaper.
John, you got 10 seconds to have the last word.
Well, I call them tomorrow. If you plant food plots, we'll save you some money. Be sure and read it.
Dave Gould, John Sloan with Wilson Post and Main Street Media, my guest. That's going to do it for a Tuesday. By the way, Congressman John Rose will be with us tomorrow, so you want to be listening tomorrow. Hope to have you then. And until then, I wish you a terrific day.